existing pertinent laws, rules, and regulations. Tapos, if later on it established that there, etc., etc. So, qualified ito eh. Ang interpretation mo, inutusan kang i-release yung tao, pero ang basis mo, yung memorandum order na lumabas noong 2015. So, still, you exercised, you usurp the authority of the Director General of Bucor.
Can I explain the process?
Yeah,
sir?
explain.
Sir, upon the receipt of that, because I was assigned, I was designated as
You were making it appear na yung basis mo for ordering the release of Chen Chang Tis, inus ng Secretary of Justice. You're misleading the committee, Chief Superintendent Faustino.
I'm sorry, sir. I will explain the process, sir.
No. Did you deliberately mislead the committee with that statement?
No.
Kasi it was our impression before we saw the document na yung specific order to release came from the Secretary of Justice. When in fact it is not, because ang basis is a department order dated November 15 or whatever date, 2015. Wala naman siyang sinasabi na i-release mo si Chen Chang eh.
Sir, the document itself is very clear, sir.
Malabo kayong kausap.
Of the Bureau of Corrections to turn over to BI after serving stall, sir.
Can we...
What is approved is ibibigay nyo, i-release niyan, bibigay sa BI. Pero marin pa rin kulatilla dyan na sinasabi rin dito sa 953 that if there is inaccuracies in that document, in the release, it will be declared null and void. So, ang last touch talaga ang Secretary of Justice. But you don't have the authority to sign. Why are you signing?
Sir, can I explain po, sir?
Yeah, of course. That's why we're asking you. Can you speak closer to the
Emanate from the
microphone?
case filed by lawyers of Chen Chang, then eventually before the court ordered us to bring this the value of Chen Chang, and I already coordinated with the Philippine Army in the area to bring that PDL. But during intervals of time, we received the order coming from the Director General, memorandum of release, together with the approval of the Secretary, pursuant also to the recommendation of the
Okay,
Bureau.
he has been released already, no?
Yes, sir.
What we are interested in now, what is the status of Chen Chang Itis? Is he still with the BID? Because you turn him over to BID. Hindi mo na alam kasi wala na sa'yo. Yes, sir.
We have been informed by the Bureau of Immigration, Senator Lacson, that these PDLs who were released are still in the custody of the Bureau of Immigration. And I have ordered the Bureau of Immigration to hold any further deportation proceedings.
Thank you, sir. And we'd like to commend you for that because even the 4 Chinese nationals, convicts, who were released by the Bucor and turned over to the Immigration Bureau last August lang yata, August 16, are still there, and you have already ordered the suspension because in the course of the review of the IRR and the law itself, nandun pa sila. So, is there a possibility that they can still be brought back to Muntinlupa and the Davao Penal Colony? Depending, of course, on your recommendation when you shall have finished your study.
There is a possibility, but I cannot make a very a short answer to that question because, Senator, we're still reviewing the guidelines and the implementing rules and regulations. And we still have to deal with a very sensitive question of what to do with PDLs who might have committed heinous crimes but who might have already been released. So that is a very sensitive and complicated legal question. It may involve constitutional issues, if I may say, Senator, so maybe it's kind of premature for me to make a very definitive answer to your question, sir.
But definitely, deportation proceedings has been held in abeyance.
Oh, yes,
So
definitely.
they won't be deported until such time that you lift the suspension of the deportation.
That is my very clear order to the Bureau of Immigration, Senator.
With the permission of Senator Lacson, just a follow-up. To Secretary, to Director Feldon. Director, ito nakalagay dito, hinihingi ang approval ng Secretary of Justice. Is that correct, Colonel Faustino? Sir Faustino? Hiningi niyo ang approval.
Yes,
And
Your Honor.
nakalagay dito, referred to Undersecretary ni Colonel Feldon, at ina-approve dito ni Secretary Menardo Guevara yung recommendation niya na i-release ito at dalhin sa Bureau of Immigration, di ba? Is that correct?
May I take a look at the document, Mr. Chairman?
But my point is, point rito ni Senator Dillon, nanghihingi kayo ng approval. Ilang ganyan ang hininging approval sa iyo, Mr. Secretary?
I really
Yan
don't
lang ba?
remember any other major request for approval. And as I mentioned earlier, it's only in connection with STAL, or Special Time Allowance for Loyalty, that I have encountered requests for approval to release. And in fact, this one, the subject matter of our discussion right now, pertains to Special Time Allowance for Loyalty, not for good conduct.
Iba yan.
This is
Iba yan.
different. STAL is
But that
covered.
is covered by 953.
Yes, but not under the,
Expiring, style, not under good
not
conduct
under
time
good
allowance.
conduct. This is covered by different provision.
So, ganun pa rin ang resulta. Gumagalaw sila, dadaan sa iyo, dapat buti nahagip natin, di ba? Yung iba ba, Mr. Pardon, humihingi ka ng approval sa Secretary?
Sa STAL, sir, I think that is being requested to the Secretary of Justice.
So you have sent letters for
For
approval?
STALs, for special time allowance for loyalty, sir.
You have sent that for approval to the Secretary of Justice?
I will check, sir, if that is
Kasi yan ang
the request
nakikita
for
namin, may
STAL
approval,
was
STAL
during
pa.
my time already or prior to my time, sir. It was approved during my time, but the request for that STAL, I will check if it was during my time or the
Yeah,
previous.
of course. Nagtatanong ako tungkol dun sa GCTA. Humingi ba kayo ng approval sa Secretary?
For GCTA, sir, I cannot remember, sir.
Kasi kaya nga
Every
sinabi ko
requested
kanina,
approval
dapat
of
humingi ka
GCTA.
ng advice sa Secretary, hindi lang kayo-kayo. Kung kayo-kayo, ayan ang mangyayari, mabibisto at mabibisto yan. And it leads to a speculation by the public na merong hanky-panky going on. You cannot blame them, right? Can you please answer the question?
Yes, Your Honor.
You cannot blame the public that they may think that may lakaran dyan, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've already exceeded the 5-minute.
But you still have another 5 minutes from
Yeah.
Senator Soto.
Just for the record, I'd like to mention that the Chinese released last June to BID are the following: Ho Wai Pang, Lau Ka Mang, Chan Chit Chui, Wu Hing Sum, Tin Sang Mao, Kim San Ho. Tama po ba itong mga pangalan? These are the names, ano? And they're still in the BID. Just for the record, there's another one. So, how about Samson Tan Itim? No? Well, as a background, si Samson Tan is a chemist arrested by MPD and PIDEA in a bypass operation that led to the raid at 22nd floor of Fortuna Palace building in Binondo. That raid yielded 100 million pesos worth of liquid shabu. No? So, but ang report dito, he was released by the Director General last December 18. I don't know if this is accurate, but we want to find out from your records if indeed there was a Samson Tan Itim released last December 18, 2018. This is another Chinese drug lord.
We will provide the August chamber the records of
For that matter-
subject PDL, Your Honor.
For that matter, can you just submit all the names of the 48 drug convicts
We will,
who were
Your Honor.
released due to GCTA or STAL.
We will comply, Your Honor.
Can
And
you...
I meant including the recommendations, including those who signed it.
Yes, Your
The
Honor.
basis for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will just lead temporarily to Senator Risa, who was ahead of me in coming out of the elevator this morning. Babae kasi, kaya pinuuna.
Senator Risa is recognized.
Your Honor.
Salamat, Mr. Chairman. Salamat to the good gentleman from Cavite.
Revoke. Repeat.
Mr. Chairman, the information about si dating Mayor Antonio Sanchez, yung tungkol sa mga Chinese drug lords na tinalakay ngayon lang ni Senator Ping at yung iba pang mga drug lords, those information alone can already stoke anger. At tama nga, nagalit ang sambayanan. Pero kung masasabi nating kasing lubhang nakagagalit, ay ang lumalabas na information na nakalap namin at ibabahagi ko po, Mr. Chairman, at the proper time, that Sanchez et al. Were not random beneficiaries of the retroactive effect of RA 10592. Ang lumalabas po, sila ay pinaboran. Special treatment, ika nga. I'm talking about this system of quote-unquote GCTA for sale na ayon sa mga prison insiders ay talamak ngayon. At the proper time, Mr. Chairman, I'll demonstrate na may mga preso na mas deserving kay Mayor Sanchez. Siyang nag-smuggle ng shabu sa loob ng statwa ng Birheng Maria. Dahil sila ay naging mga pastor, mga worship leader, walang bahid ng offenses sa record nila habang sila ay nasa preso. Pero hanggang ngayon, walang release order. And finally, Mr. Chair, I'd like to offer at the end of my minutes here some concrete proposals on ways forward to the DOJ. So, unang tanong kay Yusek Faldon. Can you tell this committee, sir, how many prisoners were released after the Supreme Court ruled that the GCTA law should be retroactive? Kahit estimate lang po, Mr. Faldon, or kahit sino pang mula sa Bureau of Corrections, 100 ba? 200 ba sila?
Out of the possible 11,000, Your Honor, there are 200 PDLs released as of this date, Your Honor.
200 PDLs released pagkatapos po ng desisyon ng Korte Suprema na dapat retroactive din ang GCTA law.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ang tanong ko po, paano nyo napili yung mga bibigyan ng GCTA at palalayain? Kasi ang documentation po ng GCTA ay per month. And my understanding is, before 2013, hindi po maayos ang documentation at monitoring ng good behavior. So, paano po? Dumaan lahat dun sa Management Screening and Evaluation Committee? Ibig sabihin lahat ay nakalaya, walang documented violations sa loob ng preso?
I would like to request the Honorable Chair if I would be allowed to pass it on to those who have processed this.
Who are these, Mr. Chair? Or who is this particular person, Mr. Chair?
The Chief Legal can explain, Your Honor.
If the Chair would allow.
I've already ruled on this. You are the one that has been invited because you're supposed to know your job. You cannot be passing it to the legal counsel. In fact, he's not
Thank
allowed
you,
to
Mr.
speak
Chair.
here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, dumaan ba sa komite? Lahat ba yung 200 na yan ay walang documented violations sa loob ng preso?
When the ruling of the Supreme Court retroactively implementing Republic Act 10592 was announced in early June, the Bureau created a special committee to come up with the rules on how to implement the retroactive recomputation and releases of this possible 11,000 PDLs that might benefit from this GCTA.
Excuse me, with the permission of Senator Risa.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I know I said he cannot speak, but you may consult him. But you are the one who is going to speak. Is that understood?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. We want to be fair here. Yun ang rules. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr.
So,
Chair.
based-
So, Mr. Faldon, based on the findings of the committee, lahat ba nitong 200, wala talagang violations habang nasa loob ng preso?
That is my presumption of regularity done by those who have been part of the committee, Your Honor.
Well, immediately an immediate opposite example of regularity. Kasi po, if Mr. Sanchez was given a release order, sabi nyo memo order lang, pero batay sa ebidensyang dokumento na release sa media, release order already dated August 20, at itong si Mr. Sanchez had committed grave violations in 2006 and then again in 2010. I would imagine na dapat nakalaya na yung mga walang kasabit-sabit, tama po ba?
The original plan, Your Honor, is to process and release 200 PDL per day. In fact, the preparations made by the Bureau of Customs, Bureau of Corrections, is that there will be 24 hours processing of this document because there are 11,000. If we will not do it that way, it's going to take too long. And at this point in time, Your Honor, a lot of letters coming from the different lawyers of this PDL are already received by the Bureau threatening to sue us arbitrary detention. Your Honor, that's why the plan is to process and release minimum of 200 per day.
Pero
But
kaya
this has
po-
not yet been done. So that means in 2 months' time, Your Honor, the entire 11,000 has been processed, and those who will benefit might probably be released within 2 months. That's really the objective, initial objective of the processes. There is
Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, kaya sinabi ko kanina na hindi random beneficiary si Mayor Sanchez na nagkataon lang isa sa 200 at kahit ganun pwede nating itanong. Pero may pagpapabor. Because Mr. Chair and Yusek Faldon, I have here with me names of convicts complete with details who probably should have been given GCTA before someone who stuffed shabu inside the statue of the Virgin Mary. Ayaw lang po nila, Mr. Chair, mabanggit in open session ang mga pangalan nila because they don't want to imperil the possibility of their early release. But just to give an idea po, 3 of these names, Mr. Chair, have become pastors, prison counselors. Yung isa pa ay ALS, Alternative Learning System teacher. I will submit these names to the Senate in executive session, Mr. Chair. I also have a list of old-aged prisoners, prisoners with various health conditions. At itong lahat, Mr. Chair, walang offenses while in jail, yet they are still in jail. Nauna pa si Mayor. Please explain this anomaly, Mr. Feldon. Yusek Feldon.
yes, Your Honor, I would like to look into this because why these 200 have been released and the rest are still not part of those 200 that were initially released. I will conduct an initial investigation regarding the queuing done in regards to the release of these 200, Your Honor. I'm one with you, ma'am, in trying to find out if there's really an anomaly in the selection of these 200 out of the 11,000 that were initially released, Your Honor.
Well, whether or not you will be able to review these, Yusek Faldon, will be up to the discretion of the committee. I will be submitting these names to the chairman. I will also be submitting, Mr. Chair, a list of elderly inmates incarcerated at a particular center as of July 2016, a dozen of them ranging in ages from 70s to 80s. Mr. Chair, I also have a video of a prisoner in Iwahig Penal Colony, a video of his daughter, of this prisoner in Iwahig Penal Colony, 20 years na pong nakapiit, and I could also show it in executive session if directed by the chair. Malubha po ang sakit nila. The daughter has not received any information of her father's possible release mula nung ilipat sila dun sa Iwahig. Bakit po yung anak ni Mayor Sanchez, itong si Alan Sanchez, alam na makalalaya sila? Yusek Feldon, personal mo daw siyang nakausap, sabi ni Alan Sanchez, yung anak ni Mayor Sanchez, and you allegedly reassured him that his father will be released. Meron pa silang pa-party dapat. So, bakit tila special si Mayor Sanchez? Is this true, Yusek Feldon? Nagsisinungaling ba si Alan Sanchez?
Yes, Your Honor. I've spoken to the family, Your Honor. This is how it happened. Evening of July 29, I was already resting in my quarters when I was informed by one of my staff that families of PDL Sanchez want to talk to me. That's already night. So I said, can you request that if it's possible, it's okay with them, bukas na lang ng office time natin sila kausapin sa opisina. Bumalik yung aking staff at sabi, hindi raw sila aalis pag di mo sila hinarap. So I was shocked, ako mukhang Sanchez nga po ito. Ay, hindi talaga ako lumabas. The following day, 21, maaga po sila sa opisina and they cried there. And, so I told them that if your father is going to be qualified for GCTA, just like the rest of the PDL, that's going to be the case. He will be released, but that is really depending on whether or not he will be qualified for GCTA. That's 21 Monday already. At that time, there is already a stoppage of the processing of his paper because we want to clearly verify if the GCTA granted to him since 1993 up to the time his kupol was destroyed in 2015 is not in violation with the prison rules. That's the only legal reason we can hold, we can use to hold his release, Your Honor, as far as the flow of his paper is concerned. So there was never an assurance because that is already 21 July, ma'am, and by that time, sinabi na natin publicly that ex-Mayor Sanchez may not qualify for GCTA as early as 20, Your Honor.
Well, mabuti pa po yung the USEC will have to disabuse the mind of Alan Sanchez kasi yun po yung alam naming kwento niya sa pag-uusap ninyo na you reassured him that his father will be released. And in any case po, mabuti pa po yung pamilya ng isang dating mayor na kayang dumalaw sa inyo at humingi ng audience. E paano po itong tulad ng anak ng isang preso, malubha ang sakit, matagal na rin nakapiit, at di tulad ni Mayor Sanchez, walang record of offenses inside prison na hindi ma-follow up yung tatay niya.
Excuse me,
Yusek Feldon, yes, Mr. Chair.
With your permission, may I ask the family of Eileen and Alan, kayo po ba sinabihan kayo ng Secretary of Justice o ng Bureau of Correctional ni Mr. Feldon na lalabas na itong pumaslang sa inyong mga anak? Mrs. Gomez?
Not all, Your Honor.
Not at all. So you just found out in the newspapers.
In
And how
fact,
did you feel nung malaman yung gano'n na lalabas na?
Of course.
Pakilapit lang po sa mikropono. So sinasabi po ng Senator Lisa, yun ho ay dapat, kung may lalabas, dapat hindi lang yung pamilya ng preso ang sasabihan, pero yung pamilya ng nasaktan, hindi po ba? How did you feel po?
Of course, it's just as painful as before, and even more, we are more fearful this time.
You were shattered, of course, by the information.
Yes, I was on a long trip, Your Honor, and I was going home. And it was in the bus TV that I saw my son, OJ, being interviewed. And then I only wished that OJ would not have surfaced at all because there has been some destabilization attempts long before. And so I heard this guy saying, when he was asked, anong pakiramdam mo ngayon? Of course, there is fear in
Ano po?
again. Of course, there is fear again.
Yung nga po ang tatanungin ko susunod. Dapat tanungin kayo dahil may kamandag pa yung mga yan. Ano po, tama po ba yan?
Yes.
Pwede niyang habulin yung state witness. Tama po ba yan?
Yes.
Pwede kayong harasin.
Yes.
Especially na hindi pa siya nagsosorry, walang remorse po. Walang
Because-
remorse. Tama po ba yan?
For the very reason na kami yung malapit.
Nanghingi po ba ng tawad sa inyo yan?
Not at all.
Never.
Never.
Sa inyo ba, Mrs. Sarmiento? Sino po ba yung teacher sa UP? Kayo po ba yung tatrabaho sa UP? Si Mrs. Gomez? Apa?
I am your husband.
Matagal kayo, nag-retire na ho kayo sa UP Los Baños, ano po?
I retired in 2010.
After how many years of service?
42 years.
42 years of faithful service to the country, educating our people. And this is what we get? Not that fair.
And my faithful service to the government continued after that, Your Honor. I am with the National Anti-Poverty Commission Cooperative Sector as a volunteer, as a council member. I am with Neda Calabarzon, again, as a volunteer. And I have been doing a lot of things for the co-op movement. And then, once again, I ask myself, is there something that God has wanted me to do as yet? Hindi pa ba, meron pa ba siyang ibig ipatupad sa akin? Or simply that, I did not blame it.
Hindi po sila nag-sorry sa inyo. Hindi kayo
Not at all.
nasabihan. Pero nag-attempt po ba, babayaran ko ang damages na nakalagay doon sa Korte Suprema?
None at all.
Wala ho. So talagang nagapak talaga ang sakit. Ano po?
Yes, of course. Your
Mrs.
Honor.
Sarmenta, yung mga anak nyo, 21 years old namatay, pinapahal nyo sa UP, gagraduate na po yan. Ano po, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did they come to you? Did they say, I'm sorry?
No, when the news came out, it was my husband who told me that Sanchez being considered will be arrested, will be released in 2 months' time. Nagulat po kami kasi hindi po namin alam, akalain na yung justice na binigay sa amin na bibigyan kami ng 7 counts ng life sentence. Yung pala bibigyan siya ng ng commutation sa kanyang sentensya.
Sandali lang po, papapuntay ko lang po si Mrs. Gomez sa infirmary at ayokong saktan. Can you bring her to the infirmary right away? Ano po? Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry. Mrs. Gomez, Mrs. Sarmenta. Not Mrs. Gomez pala dadalhin sa infirmary. Opo.
Sorry po, masyado. Sakit kasi sa dibdib ko yung manumbalik, yung nangyari sa anak ko noong 1993. Kaya ako ganito. Sa totoo lang po, araw-araw, gabi-gabi, nanginginig po ako every time I see Sanchez on the TV. Natatawa-tawa pa siya, mga ganun.
Gusto ko pong malaman ng mga tao. Pag nakikita niyo si Sanchez, hindi na kayo uniforme ng preso, may 4 na pilo, nakita niyo litrato kanina.
Opo.
May TV, may air condition. Ano po ang dagok niya sa inyo?
Sa akin po, parang siyang nabuhay na parang hari siya doon sa bibig. When in fact, dapat po, yung...
Sige ma'am, take your time.
When in fact po, dapat siya ay nagtutusa sa kanyang ginawang pagpatay at pagpabasto sa aking anak. Ngunit, nakita ko po dun sa mga TV. Kasi actually po, hindi ko pa alam yan mga nangyayaring ganyan. Kasi noong 1993, my words stopped. Hindi ako nanonood ng TV, hindi ako nagbabasa ng dyaryo, hindi ako nakikinig sa radyo. Totally wala kasi ayoko pong...
So totally traumatized kayo?
Opo.
Ayaw niyo na makinig sa radyo, ayaw niyo na makita, no?
Opo, parang nawala yung 1993 sa buhay ko. Actually po, I seek professional help for me to carry on my life as a normal person.
And are you still under professional help right now, ma'am?
No more, but I feel like wanting to have one again because sa totoo lang po, hindi ko sinasabi sa asawa ko na napanagi ako nanginginig. Yung aking pakiramdam ay laging natatakot. Pero I want to live a normal life also for my children. Nung nalaman po namin na ganito, sabi ko sa asawa ko, Brad, bakit ganun? Akala ko ba, yung sentensya niya, yung sinasabi nilang maximum 40 years, 26 years pa lang, tapos makakonsider siya as good conduct. Paano yun? Sabi ko ganun, hindi ba? Since 1995 to 2015, he lived like he has his own kubol. It was only in 1990 and 2015 that it was discovered and brought out to media. So paano siya magkakaroon ng good conduct within that year from 1995 to 2015 when the truth is that every day of his life he's violating the rules or the whatever is required of a prisoner to be in sa bilibid po. Paano siya nagkaroon ng good conduct during that time? That's more than 20 years. Tapos sasabihin nila na commute yung kanyang because of good conduct. Where's justice here?
So you think, ma'am, mali yung batas? Hindi nagbibigay tarungan ang batas sa mga napapaslang o nare-rape o
Yun nga po,
pinagnanakawan.
sabi ko nga po, why is it that in our law, maraming klaseng krimen. Meron ordinary crime, yung parang murder, homicide, something like that. Tapos may heinous crime, meron drug-related. We're not against, okay naman po yung gusto ng batas na makommute yung mga sentensya ng mga prisonero. Pero hindi po yung dapat sa lahat. Dapat yun ay may distinction. Kasi, ibig mo sabihin, kung pumatay ka ng tao, ng rape cut, o yung iba, na yung parang unintentional, parang nagnakaw lang, pareho benepisyo niya, yung binibigay ng batas natin. Our justice system is so unfair. It's so
Ma'am,
unfair.
Do you know kung si George Medialdea, isa sa mga pumaslang, si Jolo Ama, si Baldwin Brion, Luis Corcolan, Rogelio Corcolan, Pepito Kawit, alam po ba ninyo kung nakakawala na yung mga yan? O ni-recommend for...
Hindi po namin alam. Wala pa nga po kaming balita tungkol galing sa Bureau of sa Bilibid
I
po.
Mr. Faeldon, ito ba mga kasama ni Mr. Sanchez? Ito ba, nabigyan na rin ng GCTA, Good Conduct Time Allowance?
We will submit, Your Honor. Ang alam ko lang, marami na itang namatay sa kulungan.
Ano yun?
Marami
Mr. Chair.
na namatay among them inside the jail. So I will find out, sir.
May namatay na sa kanila. Pero
Yes,
yung
sir.
natira, meron ba?
I will submit records, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, just in the case ni Mayor Sanchez, nilabag na po yung Section 14 ng mismong Uniform Manual on Time Allowances and Service of Sentence ng Joint DOJ-DILG Committee. So dagdag po sa pinakateribleng suffering na nararamdaman ng dalawang pamilya, yung takot pa na nararamdaman nila ngayon ulit, yung health concerns, yung simpleng pagsunod dito sa notice to offended party and publication of names of PDLs ay hindi po nasunod, na their immediate relatives shall be given 30 days to comment from notice.
That's correct.
So, if I may continue, Mr.
Please,
Chair.
go ahead. I just want to make sure.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Just one more question. Nadagdagan pa, no? And then, Mr. Faeldon, ginugulo lang ako ng Senator General palagi. Ito bang mga, pwede mo bang ibigay sa amin kung ano nangyari dito sa mga kasama ni Sanchez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Meron na
We'll
ngayon?
submit.
Meron na? Mukhang alam nung abogado mo eh.
Sabi niya, he is informing me that they are now coordinating in the office if what happened to those other convicted along with ex-Mayor Sanchez. We are coordinating in our office to find out the status of...
In other words, mas nauna si Sanchez, alam nyo, pero yung kasama niya, hindi naman yung papalabasin o papalabasin, ganun ba? Dapat alam nyo yun.
We will find out, sir.
Yun ang unang tatanungin mo, di ba? Masyadong malakas ang publicity niya kaso niyan. Nakita na talaga maraming pumatay dyan. Dapat tatanungin mo, bakit si Sanchez lang ba? That's a question of common sense.
And
Now,
it's a
I ask
question,
you as
Mr.
Director
Chair,
of Prison, just
magpapabor.
last this one. Nakikita mo yung litrato ni Sanchez. Nakikita nila Mrs. Gomez and Mrs. Sarmienta. Nakikita nyo, nakabulsa, may relo, may kama, 4 na pilo, kompleto, may mga appliances. Ganyan ba buhay ng pangkaraniwang preso sa loob ng piitan?
No, Your Honor.
Pero bakit siya meron ganyan?
Uh,
Ayan, oh, ayan yung kanyang mga damit, oh.
it appears that those are the
Aparador
old
na yan.
photos, Your Honor.
Ha?
It appears that those are the old photos because he's decades older by now, Your Honor.
Well, I just want to make sure that that is not happening, but we will check.
Yes, sir. There is no more rooms like this in the bureau.
May privileges.
No more, sir. Since 2015,
Pero
all
I
those-
saw you another picture, nakarelo siya. Nakapantalon na maganda, nakasapatos na maganda. Yung picture niya na kinuna ng inquirer ng isang araw. May relo, maganda yung suit niya. Ayan, oh. Naka-shades, ayun yung relo. May alalay. Kamakailan lang yan.
Yes, Your Honor. He could barely walk, kaya meron siyang hinahawakan na, sir.
In other words, ready na siyang lumabas.
He
That was
was,
the time. Yun ang caption, in fact, ng inquirer. Nausyame yung paglabas niya.
that picture was taken
August
more-
20.
August, no, sir. August 23, more or less, Your Honor.
Akala niya lalabas na siya.
We
Meron
requested,
pang pa-cute siya, inmate. Ano yan nakalagay? Maynila? Ha? Maximum. Pero yung shirt niya, talagang kala mo, officer. Meron pang shoulder shoulder buttons. Ganyan ba yan? O, tingnan nyo. Ayan, o. Ang ganda ng pantalon, may sinturon. Ha? Kasama pa yung isang opisyal ng preso. Preso Caballero. Mr. Secretary, are you going to countenance that?
Certainly not, because that will be in violation of prison rules and regulations.
All I'm saying, and my final question is, bakit nagkakaganyan? Dapat itigil na lahat yung ginagawa dyan sa Muntinlupa na meron, some are more equal than others. Even in this, sinasabing time allowance. Go ahead, Secretary.
And I think, Mr. Chair...
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think madaling makuha yung status ng iba pang convicted dun sa kaso. And so the committee can wait for it, gaya ng tinatanong ni Mr. Chair
we have
kanina.
the status now, Your Honor.
Could you please give us, the committee, quickly the status of these other persons, Yusek Faldon?
3 of the convicted were already dead while inside. Yes, Your Honor.
Ano nila? Korkolon?
Yung patay. Medialdea, deceased.
Ha? Sino ang patay dyan?
Medialdea.
Medialdea,
Ha?
Soy
Medialdea
Ama,
patay na? Hindi si Secretary Medialdea yan, ha?
Rogelio Corbolon.
Corcolon.
Sino Corcolon yan? Luis? Rogelio?
Rogelio, sir.
Rogelio, patay na yan.
The rest are still
At saka sino?
inside.
So dalawa po ito.
Dalawa lang.
Tatlo
Sino
po yung
Sino po
patay.
yung pangatlo?
George Medialdea, Soylo Ama, and Rogelio Corcolon, already deceased, Your
Si
Honor.
Ama patay na.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ha? Paano namatay ang mga yan? Sinaksak ba yan? O nagkasakit o ano?
I will find out, sir. And
Kasi si Siran Bisara, sinaksak doon sa Amerika. Yung pumatay kay Robert Kennedy. Ay baka dyan. Ganyan rin yung nangyari sa pumatay sa tatay ko, sa Aling Castro, sinaksak pagkatapos mag-testify. Sa Muntinlupa.
While Gusari requested the list of those
Ha?
who are already released, these are the list of those who have benefited GCTA that
So
were
kasama ba
convicted
itong
of
natira sa GCTA?
heinous crime, sir. Meron na po kaming copies
Listahan.
dito that ready to be
Pakisabit lang
submitted.
dyan. Kasama ba itong mga taong ito? Kasama ni Mayor Sanchez?
No po, these are heinous crimes, convicted
heinous
of heinous
crimes
crimes
na ito
that have been released.
That have been released?
Yes,
Ah.
Your Honor.
Pero ito ba may application na ito? Ito, final na final. Bigay nyo nga sa akin ang patakaran nyo para makakapasok dyan sa GCTA na yan. At sino, meron ako, nakita ko, binasa ko yung proseso ninyo. Pero wala sinasabing tao, wala sinasabing kung paano po i-release. And I admonish the Secretary of Justice to make sure that you have a hand here because obviously we cannot be running the prison by advice of others. May I get your commitment, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chair, as a matter of fact, this will be one of the things that the present joint committee is actually reviewing.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair. So, Yusek Faldon, sa ganitong mga kaliwat kanan na kapalpakan, pagkukulang tungkol sa GCTA, mga importante pero simpleng tanong na mahirap sagutin dito sa komite na dapat alam na alam nyo kaagad. Kailan po kayo magre-resign sa inyong pwesto bilang Bucor Head? Yusek.
I respect the question of the Honorable Chair, sir.
And
But I would defer that question to the appointing authority.
pero
Your
kayo
Honor.
po, sa tingin nyo po, dapat ba kayong mag-resign o hindi kayo dapat mag-resign?
I believe no, ma'am.
You believe no?
Yes, ma'am.
Bakit po do you believe that you're doing a good job, Yusek?
Yes, ma'am.
You believe that you're doing a good
Yes,
job?
ma'am.
So far, yung lumalabas sa committee hearing, mukhang ibinibigay na rin sa inyo ni Attorney Santos. Would you do us the favor, Yusek, of reading Section 6 of RA 10592?
Again, with the permission,
Yes,
can you
Mr. Chair.
submit the list of those people that you release sa heinous crimes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Padala nyo lang dito, please. Paige, will you please get it? And have it photocopied for all the senators to see? Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kindly read Section 6, Yusek.
Faithful compliance with the provisions of this act is hereby mandated. As such, the penalty of 1 year imprisonment for a fine of 100,000 pesos and perpetual disqualification to hold office shall be imposed against any public officer or employee who violates provisions of this act.
Salamat, Yusek. So, mabigat po talaga kapag mapatunayan po ng komiteng ito yung ganyang mga paglabag sa batas na iyon. Lastly for this round, Mr. Chair, Yusek Feldon, your lawyer, Attorney Jose Dino, said that, quote, ito po, bispiras nitong hearing ngayong araw, quote, the same grudge bearers have come out against DG Feldon with wild accusations. One is a protector of his smuggler's son and who invented accusations of Tara with no witness. Another is an influence peddler who failed in his insistence for then BOC Commissioner Feldon to promote a corrupt customs officer. The other one is a yellow remnant who tried but failed to arm twist Feldon to sign a disadvantageous MOA, close quote. Sino-sino po ito, Yusek? Are you questioning the integrity of the senators who are questioning you this morning?
For the information of the Honorable August Body, I do not attribute that releases to myself. In fact, I have declared a while ago that I will never allow interviews until the proceeding has been completed. I gave my word that I would respect these proceedings, so I will never grant any interviews or issue statements until all proceedings of this hearing, both in the House of Representatives and the Senate.
And
is
you are
completed.
recognizing the integrity of the senators who we are questioning you today on this issue.
Today,
Yusek
I
Feldon.
recognize the integrity of every member of this August Chamber, Your
That's
Honor.
good to know, Yusek. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for my first round.
Would you have gone here without subpoena?
Yes, Your Honor. In fact, there is misinformation that, in fact, as early as last week, sir, I already canceled all other activities so that I will prioritize the proceedings in both chambers, Your Honor.
Sorry. I was chagrined because they told me you had an appointment with the Canadian Embassy, and that cannot be. Go ahead. Senator President Soto is recognized.
Thank you, Mr.
Doesn't
Chairman.
need to be recognized.
Thank
Yes, a franchise.
Thank you. I will be very brief, just direct to some points. First, a follow-up on the question of Senator Lacson to Chief Technical Superintendent Marquez. You did not answer his question on what authority you released the 4 convicts in the Chong sisters murder, rape murder case. My fellow Cebuanos have been asking me on the update.
Your Honor, I did not answer because I thought the question was directed for the Director General. But on August 9, I received Special Order 619, series of 2019. In addition to our regular duties, the following Bucor officials are hereby designated as duty generals and directed to render 24-hour duty in shifting basis, to wit, Chief Superintendent Richard Schwarzkopf, myself, and Chief Superintendent Maria Lourdes Razon. And on the last paragraph, it says there that during the absence of the Director General, they shall have full blanket authority to perform the function of the Director General with respect to Bucor's day-to-day activities, operations, and matters that require immediate action. This order takes effect immediately, Your Honor.
Do we have a copy, please?
Yes,
Submit to
sir,
us.
Your Honor.
Was this authorized by the Secretary of Justice? Huh? Secretary Guevara?
I'm sorry, Senator.
Dumaan ba sa inyo ito?
What?
Special Order 619,
No, I have not seen that special order.
authorizing Chief Technical Superintendent Marquez and Razon and Schwarzkopf.
It's an internal Bucor order, Senator, so it didn't
Don't you
pass
think this is
through.
also a violation again of 10592? Sila ang
Please.
pumirma eh. Sila.
The question is don't you think it is a violation of 10592?
Ha? May ito
Department
pa.
Order 592 pertains to the actual release
Yes.
of persons, PDLs. And if the PDL is sentenced to reclusion perpetua or life imprisonment, the prior approval of the Secretary of Justice has to be obtained.
All right. To cut a long story short, you have to look into this and look into 953 again. This is obviously a violation of 10592. Hindi po ba? Ano? So all these memorandums should be looked into carefully. Now with that and your pronouncements earlier during the time of Senator Lacson that when it comes to the heinous crimes, you admit that they should not be, and it is clear in 10592. Charged is the same as convicted because they were convicted. All right? Yeah? Ngayon, now, in this case, the release of Asnar, Alan Pahak, or Canyo, and Balansag is illegal. So what do we do about this? They are all in Cebu. They were released. What is the remedy that the DOJ can do?
Am I being asked the question,
Yes.
Senator? Yes. As I mentioned earlier, Senator, this is something that is kind of complicated. It involves the constitutional right to liberty and due process, and may involve also the constitutional issue of a bill of attainder or an ex post facto law. So the law itself, RA 10592, citing the revised penal code, mentioned that all good conduct time allowances already granted cannot be revoked. That is the wording of the law. So for some people, this may be interpreted as these PDLs having acquired a vested right already. Now, if it happens to be a case of mistaken interpretation of the law, who will have to be blamed for that? If it was an action on the part of the Bucor upon the interpretation that regardless of the offense committed, these people are entitled to good conduct time allowances, then some people would say that they acted in good faith. On the other hand, some people would argue that the government is not bound by the mistakes of its own officers. And therefore, since there was an obvious mistake on the part of people who authorized the release of people convicted of heinous crimes, then they should be returned to prison. All right, as I said, these are very complicated issues and may require a much deeper study. I would rather have a person with interest in a situation like this bring up the matter to the Supreme Court, who will have the final authority to make a ruling, to interpret what the law really meant. Because rights of people are involved here. Not only the rights of the families of the victims, but also the rights of the families of those convicted. We're trying to strike excuse me, a balance in the rights of all people affected. And even if the Department of Justice renders an opinion on this matter, this opinion is not binding on anyone unless it is an opinion or a ruling that comes straight from the highest court of the land.
Right. Perhaps that would be the best move. Yes, indeed. But as of now, it is subject to interpretation, and we are not satisfied with the interpretation. As I said earlier, kung illegal yung pagkaka-release, di ba? We need not wait for the Supreme Court decision on the matter, and we just cannot be satisfied with just blaming. There is these people to blame. Ay, hindi pwede. Kailangan po, meron tayong gawin ditong aksyon kagad.
Or
Well,
if
sir,
there's a finding of corruption.
Yes?
Well,
Grave abuse of discretion
yeah,
yan.
correct. Grave abuse discretion. So,
Mr.
perhaps we can charge the DOJ to look into this matter
Yes, we
swiftly.
will. Although we have a preliminary opinion on how to go or how to deal with these people already released, we'd rather not make this public at the moment because, as I said, this is very complicated and we need to study this very, very closely, sir. Although we have a preliminary opinion on what to do with people who have already been released.
All right, then I will leave it at that. Let me just ask you now, pick your mind on the implementation. How does the implementation of the revised penal code provision on Article 97 GCTA differ from the implementation of the provision of 10592? As stated in the Uniform Manual on Time Allowances and Service of Sentence, which was published in December 2017. What is the difference between the two?
Sir, you're asking about the difference between...
on the implementation of
on the implementation?
Yes, of the revised
The
penal code.
implementing rules and regulations which were formulated during the time of Secretary De Lima of the DOJ and Secretary Rojas of the DILG followed closely the provisions of the law itself. And that means to say that there is no very clear statement or provision as to whether those convicted of heinous crimes are excluded from the benefit of the law. But in the actual implementation, based on those who were released since 2014, when the implementing rules and regulations were formulated, it would appear, Mr. Senator, that the interpretation that was adopted then and continued to be used until more recently was the interpretation that regardless of the offense committed, whether it's heinous or not, these people are entitled to the benefit of good conduct.
Well, so from 2013, how many persons deprived of liberty have been released under this law?
I think the information, Mr. Senator, is
Submitted already?
The Bureau of Corrections will be in a better position.
All right.
To
So
answer
you have
how many-
submitted already?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you, Did you include in what you submitted the summary of the crimes committed by these individuals?
Yes, Your Honor. To be precise, there are more than 23,000 PDLs released that benefited from Republic Act 10592 since 2014, Your Honor. 23,000.
All right. Presently, are there any sick or elderly prisoners that are not eligible for the GCTA?
Every PDL, sir, based on this interpretation, is entitled to GCTA during the month that they behave well, Your Honor.
What do you mean during the...
Because the awarding of GCTA, Your Honor, is on a monthly basis. So whether they are sick or it did not exclude any type of offense they committed. It was granted to all PDLs.
Sa kasalukuyan ngayon po, gaano kadami kaya pa doon yung mga elderly at saka may mga sakit na hindi nagka-qualify dito sa GCTA sa computation ninyo?
We will submit, Your Honor. Everyone is qualified for GCTA, Your Honor, but whether or not their time, their sentence was already served as the basis for their release is another thing, sir. So we will submit the elderly because there are some newly convicted, 78 years old. So, and their sentence is reclusion perpetua. So inaabot sila talaga ng katandaan na after 20 years. So may mga matatanda doon nakapapasok pa lang sa kulungan, Your Honor.
Alright.
So they still cannot be released even they are old, Your Honor.
Before the advent of 10592, it was the revised penal code that provided for good conduct, good behavior, and all this. Okay, so what happens, Secretary Guevara, if we repeal 10592?
If you repeal completely Republic Act number 10592, which deals only with the additional or expanded coverage of
Time
time
allotted.
credits, then we revert to
Revert
what
to
is
the
being-
revised
what
penal
is being
code.
provided in the revised penal code.
All
With
right.
the permission of the Senate President.
Yes.
Kung bibigyan po natin ng advice yung Chong family, given the circumstances na release na yung tatlo, and then mukhang helpless ang situation because necessarily they will have to go to the Supreme Court and determine if there's grave abuse of discretion in the release of the 3 convicts, applying Rule 65 of course. So yun na lang ang pwede nilang course of action to take. Go to the Supreme Court and question the release of Asnar, Canyo, and Balansag.
That is one of the possible remedies that the family of the
Then what are the
victims-
other possible remedies aside from going to the Supreme Court? No, I'm si Senate President is from Cebu. I also came from Cebu. I was assigned there and I more or less I know the family of the Chong sisters. So I'm interested to find out ano yung remedyo pwede nilang gawin. No, mabuti yung kay Antonio Sanchez na preempt. And what has been clearly established so far in this inquiry is that a release order has been signed. And if not for the public uproar, wala na si Sanchez, nakauwi na ng Kalawan. So, what are the other possible remedies aside from going to the Supreme Court?
I do not think that ordinarily, if the person has not yet been released, a petition for declaratory relief may be filed with the regional trial court. Other than that, since it's a fait accompli already, Mr. Senator, it's really more of a petition for certiorari and prohibition under Rule 65 of the Rules of Court.
I agree po. But of course, they can invoke Department Order 953 because sa paragraph 2 nakalagay doon, basta reclusion perpetua. Remember, it doesn't even mention heinous crimes. Nakalagay lang, basta reclusion perpetua, dapat yon upon the prior approval of the Secretary of Justice. And most of these cases, if not all of these cases, kaya nga reclusion perpetua, heinous crimes. So it follows that all 816 or 1,914 na na-release, pwedeng interpret na mayroong grave abuse of discretion because it is beyond their discretion to release those convicts without prior approval ng Secretary of Justice.
Precisely, the remedy is one for certiorari and prohibition on the ground of excess of jurisdiction or lack of jurisdiction. So if the same was done without the prior approval of the Secretary of Justice as mandated by that department order, then it can be viewed as lack of jurisdiction, there being no prior approval, or excess of jurisdiction for the reason that they exceeded the bounds of their authority in making a release without the prior approval of the Secretary of Justice. Either way, the net effect would be to nullify.
Mr. Chairman, with the permission of the Senate
The
President,
Majority Leader is
Just to
recognized.
interject-
With the permission of the Senate President.
Of course.
yes, to follow your line, because it'll be difficult for me to come back. I'm number 11. But this is the point that I'd also like to make to support the President, Senate President's point on this, Mr. Secretary. Similar to a quo warranto case. We're all familiar with quo warranto cases. This is like a quo warranto case. Nagkamali yung recommendation, nagkamali yung dokumento, sinubmit, inappoint, and therefore, mali yung proseso at natanggal. Similar to a quo warranto case, can't we not intervene this way? That the process, as you see, is very flawed. They failed miserably in the conditions for pardon, and they also failed in the process as other people were signing on behalf of the Undersecretary Faldon on maybe and all the others in the previous years. Can't we not also invoke similar to quo warranto proceedings and therefore recall these prisoners? Because, Mr. Secretary, this is tainting our administration's fight against criminality. This is the cornerstone of the President. So just that interjection, Mr. Senate President, I hope you don't mind, because that's the point that I raised also with Senator Drilon. But isn't this similar to a quo warranto case?
Senator, if I may just make a brief reaction to your statement. It is analogous or similar to quo warranto only in the sense that certain people, PDLs, who committed heinous crimes are not eligible in the first place to be credited with any time allowances. All right, so to that extent, it is similar to quo warranto, but the proper remedy is not quo warranto itself because we're not talking about a public office here. So, but the idea is similar. Not eligible to begin with. All right, but the remedy is not quo warranto, but the provision for certiorari and or prohibition.
Yes, the point of the majority leader is, he means it's analogous.
Yes.
As analogous.
Just,
as well.
may
With
I
the permission
ask-
of the chairman,
Just one point. I invite the Secretary of Justice to examine the case of People versus Tan. This was decided on February 25, 1967, where the facts are similar to this. In that case, Tan, the defendant, the accused, was released by provincial warden on good conduct time allowance. There was an error found by the court. The fiscal moved to rearrest the accused. The court allowed the rearrest. So in this particular case, the rearrest of those 1,914, if found that they were in violation, that the release was in violation of the law and the rules, they can be rearrested on the authority of People versus Tan. May I request the Secretary of Justice to review this case? It's GR number L21805, dated February 25, 1967.
We shall take a look at that jurisprudential ruling, Senator.
I think
may jurisprudence na eh. Oh, anyway, So just two more very small questions, but
I
very
joined the
important.
secretary, I joined the minority floor leader in taking a look at the case because I think I've always maintained that you can rearrest based on an act that was based on false pretenses or false law or false implementation or interpretation of the law. Go ahead, please.
All right. Now, in the case of the one in Davao, Chief Superintendent Faustino, you were not able to tell us, to tell Senator Lacson, what was the loyalty that that particular guy did to be released? When he was released on special time allowance loyalty. Ano yung ginawa niya?
Because of two-fifth credit during the time of Yolanda. Because at that time, he was confined at Leyte Regional Prison. And following the case of Yolanda, he was also credited of another two-fifth for the fire that caused the
Hindi tumakas.
destruction of Leyte Regional Prison.
So, hindi tumakas.
Yes, sir.
Bumalik. All right.
That is provided for in the law. Hindi siya tumakas.
Yes, sir.
Alright.
That's a new provision in 10592, sir.
One final question. This has been bugging many people that have gotten in touch with me. To the Bureau of Corrections, and I hope Secretary Guevara will pay close attention. Who is Roberto Traya?
He is an employee of the Bureau assigned at the documents section, Your Honor.
He is the Assistant Chief Document Section of the Bureau of Corrections, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. He was killed
Yes, Your Honor.
August 27.
Assassinated.
Yes, Your Honor.
Assassinated. Yes. Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very near the Bureau of Corrections or NBP, right?
At the poblasyon.
Gumugulo ang kaisipan ng marami because if you will look at the matrix ng procedures ninyo, document section, doon nagsimula itong mga release orders. Merong co-compute yung GCTA, tapos drafts ng memo, ida-draft nila yung memo, papadala sa Director for Security and Operation, papadala sa Office of the Director General, and then sa Legal Officer, re-review yung draft memo, then the Director General signs the memo. If the Director General is not available, a designated duty general are authorized. Then it goes back to the Office of the Director General. It is scanned for the record. It goes back to the document section, and the record section na kung saan nagtatrabaho itong si Roberto Traya na inassassinate. Sino pumatay dito? Ano bang tingin ninyo nangyari dito sa tauhan ninyo? O sino nagpapatay? Meron bang na-displease ito sa corrections or sa mga preso or
Based on the initial investigation, sir, 3 years ago, he was ambushed in Leyte because he used to be assigned in Leyte. Because he's also in connivance with a PDL that was recently also napatay na rin. So, that is, dito yung lumalabas na yung nagtangka sa buhay niya sa Leyte ay mukhang yun pa rin. And then the PDL na nahuli naka-text niya ay namatay na rin, pinatay din. The same day. But yung PDL na yan ay nandun sa ibang lugar, sa Leyte. So lumalabas na sa initial investigation, dalawa silang pinatay. But nung araw na yun. And the reports is ito ay inambus na rin ng 3 years ago, kaya nilipat dito sa Manila, sir. But I cannot divulge further the investigation because it's still ongoing, but that is what the PNP and our internal investigation is leading to, Your Honor.
because of the recent controversies surrounding the Bureau of Corrections, I think it's just but proper, Secretary Guevara, for the NBI to investigate thoroughly and get to the bottom of this ng malaliman siguro. Kapagkat yung tao Assistant Chief ng Document Section involved dito sa mga nire-release. Ma-assassinate 7 days after a so-called controversial release is done and which was not consummated. So perhaps we would await a report from you thereafter. All right? Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I will terminate at this point.
Just a follow-up, just one question. Who appointed this guy, Traya?
I will find out, sir, but he's a plantilla
I understand he
official.
was transferred by Secretary De Lima to Leyte. Is that correct?
He is from Leyte and transferred 3 years ago to NBP, Your Honor.
Was that because of drug relationships?
He was
Or
ambushed in
connivance or
Leyte.
whatever? Huh?
Yes, sir. He was ambushed in Leyte 3 years ago. I still have to look for the motive of the ambush, Your Honor, but the initial investigation is that he is connected to some PDL inside Leyte,
Connected to the?
to some prisoners, PDL, prisoners deprived of liberty.
That is in connection with the killing by of the mayor of Albuera, Espinosa, and I understand from the General Elizar that they're investigating that angle because somehow he was involved in that in some drug operation. That's why I'm asking who appointed him and who transferred him back.
He was assigned Leyte for a long time, and then after the ambush, 30 years na daw po siya doon, and then 3 years ago he was transferred here, Your Honor.
All right, just to be sure, the NBI will look into this, right, Mr. Secretary?
We are contemplating of referring the matter or endorsing the matter to the National Bureau of Investigation.
Well, Attorney Dante Gran of the NBI, I just have one question. Are you looking into this matter?
Thank you, sir, for asking the question.
You're welcome.
Even before
That's my job.
the very good Secretary of Justice, my boss, has ordered us through a what we call this DO or Department Order. We have started intelligence gathering about the killing, and we have good information. We call it a crime story. We have 2 or 3 angles about this. Something that we cannot divulge at the moment.
I will call Senator Tolentino, but I just have a comment. This is again a riding in tandem murder, right? Yes?
Yes, of course.
Are you answering yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Senator Tolentino. May nakuha ba kayong plate number, sabi ni Senate President? Ayaw nyo ng malaking plate number, so wala naman nakuha. Ha? Mali na plate number, o walang plate number. What hours ba to? Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm addressing to my former cabinet colleague, Secretary Guevara. Senior mo naman ako sa law school. We've been trying to help this committee by providing us some recommendations, but baka pinatay ito ni Sanchez. So you've been trying to give some recommendations to this committee, but I'll try to extract some recommendations from you in a friendly manner, Secretary Guevara. But let me revisit again the important timelines insofar as the core of the questionings might be concerned. May 24, 2013, the Bucor law was passed, and under questioning by Senator Drilon, you mentioned a while ago that you do not have any supervision insofar as regulatory and quasi-judicial resolutions issued by the Bucor is concerned. You don't have to answer this. GCTA law was passed May 29, 2013. The IRR was approved March 26, 2014, or after a year. The new manual, which you have been citing several times, was approved by the DILG and the DOJ December 1, 2017. Correct? Siguro next hearing, Mr. Chair, I propose that the DILG should also be present here. Ikaw pala. I'm sorry. The Supreme Court decision concerning the PDLs versus Secretary de Lima was promulgated June 25, 2019. And apparently, the uproar came after June 25, 2019. I was surprised while seated and listening to you, Mr. Secretary, that you have been in a rush to modify the joint manual on GCTA issued by the DOJ and DILG. Am I correct? Yes or no?
Yes, that is correct.
Has it occurred to you, Mr. Secretary, that in our scheme of lawful order, we should have first the law, which is the GCTA, and under that would be the IRR, the implementing rules, and under the implementing rules probably would fall the manual, the joint manual issued by the DOJ and the DILG. Am I correct?
That is very correct, Senator.
Now, what I'm saying is this. Secretary Drilon questioned you several times concerning your administrative, quasi-judicial supervision over Bucor. Sabi mo, wala kaming kapangyarihan doon. Let me refresh your memory. We took in law school Executive Order, is it 297, the Administrative Code of the Philippines, which under Section 22 gives you blanket authority to revise, modify, rectify abuses of maladministration, etc., coming from an attached agency such as the Bucor. Am I correct?
That is correct, but I have to qualify my answer, Senator. That is a general law, and there is a specific law on the Bucor. So in case of disagreement, not disagreement, but potential or apparent conflict, the specific law will have to prevail over the general law.
Mr. Secretary, kanina pinag-usapan, sinasabi nyo, apparently there is a conflict. The chair mentioned absurdity insofar as Section 1 and Section 3 of Republic Act 10592. Hindi po kaya tama ito? Kayo naman ang i-guide namin ngayon, Mr. Secretary, na panahon na para gumawa kayo ng amended IRR. Especially Section 4, which has been invalidated by that recent Supreme Court decision.
Exactly, that is what we are
Yung po yung
actually
tanong
doing.
ko, bakit inuuna nyo yung joint manual kaysa doon sa IRR? Mas nauna po dapat yung IRR na baguhin natin. And if you're saying that you are now preparing an IRR, modified, amended, to comply with the Supreme Court decision, I ask the Honorable Chair to provide us a draft tomorrow. Yung Section 4 lang, inawala yung prospectivity. Sinabi ng Supreme Court, retroactive na. Can you provide that? This committee tomorrow, Mr. Secretary. Yung wish list mo, I'm sure, as a good lawyer, dali naman isulat yan, dami mong undersecretary. Ano ba yung dapat ilagay dun sa bagong IRR? Pursuant to the Supreme Court decision, it should have a retroactive effect, and even your wish list, yung sabi mo, yung heinous crime, wala doon, pwede mo na sigurong ilagay doon para itong committee ito at yung iba't ibang committees na mag-handle ng pending bills dito sa Senado ay mag-guide kami kung ano yung aming gagawin. Paano ilalagay yung heinous crime, paano mo i-harmonize yung Section 1 at Section 2. Can you do that tomorrow, Mr. Secretary?
The subject of the review, the joint review, is not only the guidelines being followed by the Bureau of Corrections or by the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, but the very IRR itself. The only thing that we cannot change or amend is the act itself, the law itself.
I agree. But we are referring to your wish list a while ago na nando naman sa 105.9 to Section 1, yung nabanggit, alam nyo, kanina nabanggit na yung Department Order 953 yung sinasabi nyo wala sa batas, napalagay na natin doon sa 953. So whatever is your wish list, provide this committee tomorrow para nang sa ganon, yung mga pending bills, alam din namin kung saan kami mag-harmonize at magpo-propose ng amendments. Because you've been guiding us for several hours, now try to guide us direct to the point now, Mr. Secretary.
The Joint Committee was given 10 days to complete its study and recommendations. I am not prepared to say
So,
that we can submit something to you tomorrow.
Mr.
because-
Secretary, so you're now saying that the Joint Committee will prepare an amendment to the Joint Manual as well as the IRR?
Yes,
Ganun ba?
that is the very subject of the joint DOJ, DILG order.
But let me
review.
refer to you and for the benefit of this committee. Alam niyo po, kanina pa natin pinag-uusapan itong joint manual. Ang kapal nga nitong binabasa ko kanina. Alam niyo po, tatanungin ko mamaya si Yusek Faldon. Bukod po doon sa joint manual, there is a prison manual crafted by the DOJ during the time of Secretary Toquero. Siya yung DOJ Secretary. And ang prisons director is General Sistosa. And I'm sure that prisons manual is still in operation and valid. Am I correct, Mr. Secretary? Kasi nagkakahalo-halo na tayo dito sa, this joint manual is just for the GCTA. The prison manual is for the general operations of the new believed prisons. Ano yung prisons discipline? Ano yung medical benefits nila? Ano yung clothing requirement nila? Ano yung food requirements nila? Security requirements, etc., etc. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Kasi ngayon naghahalo-halo to eh. So paghiwalayin natin yung joint manual doon sa prisons manual. And you will agree with me, tapos na yung prisons manual, baka naman pwedeng i-provide sa committee tomorrow yung prisons manual for us to be guided accordingly.
The Bureau of Corrections has informed me that that prisons manual is still in effect.
Yeah. So Mr. Chair, may I request that the Bucor head, the Secretary of Justice, provide this committee tomorrow sa continuation ng hearing ng prisons manual.
Yes, Your Honor.
I tend to agree with you, but I just want to make sure I don't want to make a dishonest man out of the secretary. Can you do it tomorrow?
The submission of the prisons manual?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's already existing. Di ba?
Yeah, it already exists. And if only we had it today, we could have given this to you right away.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Chair, kaya ko po sinasabi to. Kasi yung daily activities, correct me if I'm wrong, Yusek Faldon, yung daily activities sa Bilibid. Meron tayong overseer. Ito yung foreman. Yung foreman, siya yung in charge doon sa mga facilities. Minimum, medium, maximum, and the RDC, yung reception. So siya yung in charge. Ang balita sa akin, tatlong shifts. Yung overseer, ibibigay niya yung report doon sa superintendent. Am I correct? So you have 3 shifts of superintendent. So nagsimula tayo sa overseer. I-report kay superintendent. Ito po yung pang-araw-araw na gawain nila kung talagang merong good conduct talaga ito. Am I correct, Yusek Faldon? Yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Si superintendent ngayon, 3 shifts, nagre-report naman siya dito sa, papunta doon sa Records Division na nabanggit ni Senate President na yung isang tauhan ay pinaslang noong August 27. Tama po ba yon?
Documents Division, Your Honor.
The Records Division is the same as the Documentation Division. Pareho po yan.
Yes, Your Honor.
At si Records
Senator
Division.
Medina, you're on your second 5 minutes already, but
Just
you
2 more
have to
questions,
wrap
sir.
up.
2 more questions.
Wrap up this.
Si Records Division ang magre-report naman doon sa MSEC. Tama ba?
No, Your Honor.
Saan siya magre-report? Sa Director General na?
No, sir. There's a time allowance
Committee?
supervisor.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm saying is this. The final approval, whether that PDL is in compliance with good conduct, time allowance, etc., rests on the Director General. So kaya ko po sinasabi to, Mr. Chair, parang lumalabas po sa ating pag-aaral when you compare pardon, parole, executive clemency. Lahat po ito dumadaan sa masusing proseso at lalong-lalo na yung executive clemency, presidente pa ng Pilipinas ang nag-a-approve, usually binibigay pag Pasko, nakapublish yung mga pangalan sa dyaryo. Dito po sa GCTA, wala po napapublish dito. Kaya po sinabi ko noon, kahit sa website ilagay. So that's why I'm requesting the Secretary of Justice, when we amend the IRR, because it should have been triggered since June 25 by that Supreme Court decision, isama na po natin lahat yon sa wish list. Can we do that? Kahit hindi mo masubmit bukas yung wish list mo, Secretary Guevara.
We will recommend the inclusion of a provision of transparency not only in the IRR but also in any proposed amendment of the law itself.
Salamat, Mr. Secretary. One last question, Mr. Chair, addressed to, with due respect, Mrs. Sarmenta. One last question. A few weeks ago, when this brouhaha concerning the release of former Mayor Sanchez was raised, you were quoted in a television interview or even a newspaper report, radio interview, that because of this incident, pabor po kayo sa restoration ng death penalty. Tama po ba yung pagkakaintindi ko, Mrs. Sarmenta?
Opo, at that spur of the moment, I said, yes, I agree to restoring the death penalty. But then, when I thought it over po, being a Christian, I would rather have the life sentence, because in the death penalty, it's only one injection, tapos na, tulog na siya, he's done. But in the life sentence, the prisoner would be given the chance to, to be reformed also. And also, the mere fact that he suffers, he should be suffering for the crime that he did. Mas gusto ko pa yun makita na nag-suffer siya. Hindi naman ako sadista, but then parang mas maano sa loob mo na yung kanyang hatol ay panghabang buhay.
Maraming salamat, Mrs. Sarmenta. Philippine Society commiserates with you, and I'm sure a lot of things will come out of this committee hearing. I yield the floor, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just an advice to the new senators, and this is not meant to disparage. Try to shorten your questions because the time is eating your questions. The time you lay the predicate takes too long. So, but that's why we gave you another 5 minutes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We now have Senator Marcos. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm puzzled by the number of manuals that have been mentioned. Nabanggit na ni Tol kanina, ni Senator Tol, na may prisons manual, tama po ba? Na nagmula pa nung panahon ni Secretary Tuquero. Pero rin binabanggit si Attorney Reynante Orseo na uniform manual, kasi hindi daw magkapareho yung sa BJMP, yung Bucor, at saka yung NBP. Bakit may kinailangan pang ibang manual?
Kasi po, yung pong manual na ginawa namin, hindi lang naman po yung sa process ng pagbigay ng GCTA, kundi yung process pa paano mapupunta yung mga kalpeta ng inmates from the BJMP or Bucor going to the...
So, kailan nagsimula yung pagsasaliksik ng uniform manual na naman? 2016 po ba?
2017 po namin ginawa.
2017
Yes po.
ang pag-uumpisa nito. At doon sa uniform manual, pinagkaisa ang interpretasyon ninyo na kada buwan babawasan ng 25 days. Depende sa tagal. Ganun po ba?
Ganun po. Depende po sa tagal ng...
Kasi yun ang tinutukoy ng lahat na nagsimula dyan yung good conduct computation. Doon sa uniform manual na ginawa ninyo noong 2017.
Hindi po, just to be corrected. Yung pong ILR, nasa batas po yung yung number of periods.
Hindi nga po kasi nga yung bilang sa batas hindi maliwanag. Nasasabi first 2 years,
Yes,
binibilang ninyo kada buwan. Hindi kayo nag-iintay. At ang tinutukoy, itong uniform manual na ginawa ninyo.
Meron pong ganun sa IRR na ginawa po dati ni Senator De Lima.
Pero alam naman po natin na hindi tinanggap ng Supreme Court yung IRR sapagkat nagka-problema sa retroactive effect, hindi
yes
po ba?
Ang naging issue lang po doon, yung prospectivity ng law, but then the whole IRR is still in effect.
Pero maliwanag dito, first 2 years,
Yes,
pagkatapos
tama po.
3rd to 5th year. Ang bilangan po, ayon kay Apo Faldon, first month, bawas kagad. Second month, bawas kagad. Parating umpisa sa zero eh.
Ang idea po kasi ng paano ka magbabawas o magdadagdag, kung halimbawa in a month's time, there is a single violation, for that month alone, wala kang GCTA dapat. For the whole month yun.
Hindi kaya nga, pinagtatakan lang namin, bakit naisip ninyo gumawa pa ng bagong manual? Kasi
Kasi nga
meron
po,
na naman dati. Bakit binago pa?
Hindi po binago. Gumawa po kami ng operational manual para magkaroon ng uniformity ang ginagawa ng process ng PJMP at saka ng Bucor.
Ang sabi po kasi, wala naman daw uniform manual dati.
Wala po.
Kanya-kanyang manual yan.
Tama po.
Bakit naisip ninyo gumawa pa ng panibago?
Kasi po,
Para makinabang yung mga VIP po?
Hindi ho. Kasi, nung ako yung naging undersecretary, nagkaroon po ng issue, paanong nata-turn over yung documents, yung prisoners, doon sa papuntang Bucor at papunta sa Boards of Pardons and Parole at even doon sa PPA, up to the level ng paano na-approve ng Presidente. So may mga ganun nagpagdatali, mga agencies. So,
Naipalathala po ba itong manual na to?
Opo, nasadya rin po yan.
Na-publish
Yes po.
ng kompleto?
Yes po.
At kailan ho na-publish yan? Pwede makita yung sample
mga
po?
December of 2017. Yes.
Pwede nyo dalhin?
Congress o DOJ?
Sino
Saan po sa Diary
nag-publish?
po, newspaper ho?
Sino nag-publish?
DOJ po.
Oh, hindi Congress.
Hindi po.
Oo, kaya nalilito kami eh.
Sorry.
Oo.
Sorry.
Parang kasi gawa lang ninyo yan eh.
Yes.
Alam ko naman sumusunod kayo doon sa Tanyada versus sa Tubera.
Yes,
Alam
yes.
naman natin na kapag may penalty, dapat i-publish.
Yes.
Kaya nais namin makita kung paano at bakit kayo nag-isip na gumawa na naman ng ikatlong manual.
Ikatlo, wala pong...
Ikatlo, kasi sabi mo, BJMP, pagkatapos may Bucor, tapos may panibago
Hindi
pang
po.
uniform manual.
Hindi po, kasi yung Bucor, nung ma-implement po yung batas, because a mandate was given to BJMP created its own procedure. So yung Bucor has its own procedure. Ang problema po sa dalawang procedure, hindi nag-harmonize. So what we did is just to harmonize the two procedures. Just what we did only sa uniform, kaya that's why we called it a uniform manual.
Pero hindi ba sa pag-harmonize ng procedure, gumagawa kayo ng panibagong batas?
Wala po. It's more than operational procedure lang po yan.
Pero
Wala
hindi
po.
yata operational yung pagbibilang ng 25 days kada buwan.
Nasa batas
Makabago
po
yun eh.
Actually,
Hindi,
kung,
yung article 3, yung section 3 po, hindi naman ganun. Yung
Ay,
article 97, iba yung pagbibilang. Hindi. Alam natin na may problema po itong batas na to. Klaro naman po yun. Sabi ni Secretary Guevara kanina, nahihirapan sila mag-harmonize. Yung section 1, dapat controlling yung last paragraph kung saan nandun yung exclusion ng mga heinous crime. Sa palagay ninyo, yung declaratory relief o di kaya yung sinasabi nga, yung section 65 na certiorari, makakatulong. Dahil ang takot natin, kapag challenge itong batas na to, maaaring maging unconstitutional. Si Secretary Guevara po ba naniniwala na maaari dahil napaka-vague, ika nga, at walang maayos na definition yung good conduct, Secretary po?
Yun pong definition ng good conduct ay, in my opinion, may sufficient guidelines to go by. But it's really the more fundamental question of whether those convicted of heinous crimes are entitled to the benefits.
Given that Section 1 only refers to preventive imprisonment.
Yes, although it's under that heading, preventive imprisonment time credit.
The final
however,
paragraph,
the sentence says excluded from the benefits of this act.
Yes,
so
po.
that means, all benefits, not only on preventive imprisonment time credit.
Yes, may I similarly manifest to the chairman and the rest of the members of this committee that this law, if challenged in the Supreme Court, could be considered unconstitutional for its vagueness, for the lack of clear definitions on good conduct, and also for the apparent lack of definitions for the length of time for one to be considered of good conduct or not. Hence, it is important that it come back to us for further legislation if we in fact believe in the intent of the law, and harmonizing, as we see it from the former DOJ and the existing SOJ, will no longer be so difficult. Ang pinakamahirap po dito, yung GCTA for sale. Ang inaalala ng lahat ng tao, for sale daw ang GCTA, ang SPAL, nabibili. Handa po ba kayo na pumipirma si Chief Superintendent Faustino at yung iba pa, si Yusek Faldon? Handa po ba kayo na mag-lifestyle check para doon sa napaka-high profile drug cases na pinalabas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, handa po daw sila. Siguro magpa-follow up ang aking mga kasamahan. At sana ibigay po lahat ng mga manual niyan, yung uniform, yung BJMP, yung Bucor, at iba pa, yung prison manual, para maintindihan po namin, sapagkat itong mga manual na to ay hindi lamang mga reglamento para sa operation na sinasabi ninyo, kundi may force and effect ng batas. Salamat po.
Okay, thank you very much for the
Mr. Chair.
questions.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just reiterating the presence of the ILG at this session, since Senator Francis Tolentino, in good faith, mistakenly thought that we're absent.
No, you're present.
Yeah, just for the record.
You just got your 30 seconds worth of fame. But you better thank Senator Tolentino for that, because he allowed you to have your 30 seconds worth of fame. All right? Biro lang yan. Anyway, we shall now have Secretary The Rock Bato. I think he's going to give way to
Mr. Chair, I would like to yield my
the feminine of Bonga.
to Senator Bongo. After him na lang ako.
Feminine nga ng Bonga eh, Bongo. Masculine pala. Hindi, nagkukuha sila eh.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Gusto ko lang pong linawin na hindi tayo nandito para magsisihan, nandito tayo para ayusin ang sistema at siguraduhin na hindi may pagkakait ang hustisya para sa mga biktima ng krimen. Welcome po ang investigasyong ito para malaman ng tao ang totoo. In fact, pabor po si Pangulong Duterte sa investigasyon para malaman natin kung saan ang mga lapses at kung may kailangan managot sa nangyari. Kailangan natin silipin at linawin ang mga probisyon ng Republic Act number 10592, pati na rin po ang implementing rules and regulations nito. Sa ngayon, nagmumukhang iba-iba ang interpretasyon ng batas at may mali sa application ng batas na ito. Pero ang malinaw para sa akin at sa mga ordinaryong Pilipino, hindi tama ang isang high-profile convict na pinatawan ng 7 reklusyon perpetua dahil sa karumal-dumal na krimen at nahulihan ng illegal na droga sa loob ng bilangguan ay bigla na lang mapalaya. Maaring maganda ang layunin ng batas na RA 10592, maganda naman ang mayroong mga insentibo para sa mga gustong magbagong buhay, pero dapat siguraduhin natin kung sino man ang mapalaya sa batas ay yung qualified talaga sa good conduct time allowance. Alam rin po natin na kahit anong good behavior sa kulungan ang gawin ng isang kriminal na nag-commit ng heinous crime, hindi nito maibabalik ang buhay na nawala. Hindi dapat maging polisiya ng gobyerno na mawalan ng hustisya ang mga naging biktima ng mga kadumal-dumal na krimen at mapalaya ang mga kriminal na may pagdududang maaring maging banta at salot muli sa lipunan. Sa aking pananaw, kailangan nating suriin ng mabuti ang pinanggagalingan ng aplikasyon ng batas na ito? Sino ba ang nagsulat at nag-aproba ng implementing rules and regulations na nagsasabing kasama ang mga convicted sa heinous crime sa computation ng GCTA? Bakit ba ganyan ang application ng batas? Kailan pa ba yan ginagawa? Saan ba ang mga lapses sa implementasyon ng batas o sa itinakdang polisiya mismo? Kung kailangan amendahan ng IRR o maging mismong batas, gawin natin. Suportado ko ang panukala ito sa Senado para amendahan o maklaro ang batas na ito. Pangalawa, paano naman maging good behavior ang pagpupuslit ng shabu at marijuana sa loob ng bilangguan? Ginagamit pa ng estatwa ng Birhen Maria para magtago ng shabu. Ang mga taong gumagawa nito ay walang konsensya at walang takot sa Diyos. Good conduct ba ito? Paano ba nakukonsidera na good conduct? Ano ba ang mga kwalifikasyon? Gusto natin malaman ang mga implikasyon sa GCTA kung magkakaroon ng prison violations ang mga inmates. Pangatlo, bisitahin natin ang kasulukuyang estado ng ating mga bilangguan. Dati, ginagawa ang illegal na droga mismo sa loob ng kulungan. Ngayon, sinasabi natin hindi na. Ano ba ang status ng illegal drug clearing ng Bucor? Ano ba ang ginagawa ng Bucor para tuluyang mawala ito? Panghuli, sa tingin ko po, kung tatanungin ninyo ako at ibang senador, hindi kami sang-ayon sa pagpapalaya sa mga convicted heinous crime, kaya may iilan sa amin na sinusulong maibalik ang death penalty. Tulad ni Pangulong Duterte, galit po kami sa kriminal, lalong-lalo na po involved sa heinous crime. Consistent kami sa stand na yan. As legislator, it is important for us to make sure that there are no dubious provisions at contentious issues in the application of our laws. Ang layunin natin dito ay siguraduhin may hustisya sa ating bansa. Our laws should provide protection to our innocent people and justice to victims, and not provide a sanctuary through a law that benefits perpetrators of heinous crimes. Huwag natin ipagkait ang hustisya sa mga biktimang nangungulila dahil lang sa isang batas na salungat sa hustisya ang ating inaasam para sa bawat Pilipino. Death is better than being in jail until you die. Kung ganon katigas ang Pilipino, then ibalik ang death penalty. Kung gusto nila humanitarian, we have to implement this law. But ayusin lang, we can't have both. Mr. With your indulgence, allow me to ask the following questions. At meron lang po akong gustong ibahagi kasi po para maintindihan po ng publiko.
With all due respect, Senator Go, your 5 minutes is up, but I'll give you 2 minutes to ask your questions.
Okay. Ito lang pong, Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang po sanang i-emphasize that our President Duterte exercises prudence in deciding cases and petitions for executive clemency. Binubusisi niya ang lahat ng dumadaan sa kanya for his approval. Hindi po siya padalos-dalos at pinag-aaralan niya ng mabuti ang lahat ng dumadaan sa kanya. And in fact, nasa lamesa pa niya ang iilan pong humihingi ng mga executive clemency or pardon. At pinapabalik niya, humihingi siya ng narrative. Qualified ba ito? Sino bang mga ito? Matanda na ba ito? At deserving na ba silang lumabas at lumaya? So ibig ko pong sabihin, kung ganun po kasigurista po ang ating Pangulo, so dapat rin po sa mga kasama natin sa gobyerno, sa Bucor, sa DOJ, ay pag-aralan po nating mabuting, lalong-lalo na po yung mga involved po sa heinous crimes. So, nakikiramay po ako kanila, Mrs. Sarmienta, Mrs. Gomez. Alam ko pong hindi na po may babalik ang buhay ng inyong mga anak. Anyway, bago po pumutok itong balitang ito, gusto ko lang pong sabihin sa inyo yung totoo. Sir, bigyan mo naman ako ng additional 5 minutes. Sila kanina, 20 minutes eh.
The chair is always very fair.
Thank you, sir.
That's why I even cautioned Senator Tolentino that your questions should be brief so that your time will be well spent, because we do not count the answers.
Thank you, sir.
But I was looking at Senator Pangilinan because he might ask you, will the gentleman yield? Because that was a privileged speech he just delivered.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay.
Minus
Sorry,
na lang bukas
I
po.
will allow you. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Bago po, ikwento ko na lang po, bago po pumutok yung balita, maalala ko, August 20, nabasa po natin sa mga periodiko ng possible release of Mr. Sanchez. Then nung araw-araw po merong presidential briefer na binabasa ang ating Pangulo, including confidential ones, ay nung August 21 ng gabi, nabasa niya po ito at unang-una niyang ginawa, pinatawagan niya kaagad si Bucor Chief Faeldon at Ma'am Mrs. Sarmienta, sinabi niya kay Bucor Faeldon, sabi niya, do not release. At ang sinabi niya, order from the higher authority. Hindi niya muna pinangalanan, pero ibig sabihin, sino bang, wala naman pong ibang higher authority other than the President of the Philippines. Yun po yung sinabi niya at pinarating rin po kay Secretary Guevara na hindi po papayag si Pangulong Duterte. In fact, sinabi ko nga kay nagbigay na lang po ako ng statement na sabi ko nga kay Mr. Sanchez, pagdusahan at pagbayaran mo na lang po yung kasalanan mo dyan sa loob kesa lumabas ka, baka i-clip ang iyong buhay. At sabi ko nga, mas mabuti pang antayin mo na lang na si San Pedro na lang ang pumatol sa iyo, Mr. Sanchez. Anyway, tuloy-tuloy po ang kampanya ni Pangulong Duterte laban sa kriminalidad. Sama po kami rito at asahan niyo po sa mga naging biktima, hindi po papayag si Pangulong Duterte na gano'n na lang po, basta-basta. So, sabi ni Pangulong Duterte, magkakaroon rin siya ng sarili niyang investigasyon at gusto niyang malaman kung meron bang korupsyon na nangyari. Bakit po na-release ang mga prisoners na involved po sa heinous crimes. And then after dagdag ko na lang po to, after the GCTA law was enacted in 2013, then DOJ Secretary De Lima and DILG Secretary Rojas caused the issuance of the corresponding IRR. Did they not? I'm addressing my question to DOJ. In the said IRR, Secretary De Lima and Secretary Rojas did not include a rule or guideline categorically stating that heinous crime convicts were not covered by the benefits of the GCTA law. Is that correct? And then, are you aware of any incidents of corruption in the grant of GCTAs? Kindly explain. And then last, what remedial steps do you think Congress should take in the light of the present controversy over GCTAs? Yun lang po ang aking tanong. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Senator, for asking those questions. First of all, as I mentioned earlier, the implementing rules and regulations that were adopted in 2014 followed closely the wordings of the law itself. So as there was no very explicit and expressed statement that would clearly indicate that heinous crime convicts and those charged with heinous crimes are not covered by the benefits of the law. Since there is a doubt in the interpretation, nothing was also mentioned in the implementing rules and regulations to clarify that bit of ambiguity. So essentially, ganun din po ang laman ng IRR. So that's why we are trying to review this and inject our own view about the exclusion to make it even more clear. Whether that will in fact be sustained if questioned before a court of law is something that we cannot really anticipate. But that's how we intend to clarify these implementing rules and regulations by injecting a very clear statement that those convicted of heinous crimes as well as habitual delinquents, escapees, and recidivists are not covered by any benefit under RA 10592. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity, if I may be given the privilege by this Justice Committee to make certain recommendations insofar as the law itself is concerned, because this is the main reason why I attended this particular hearing. Not so much to answer operational questions as to provide somehow a legal framework for any possible legislation, remedial or otherwise, that Congress, both the Senate and the lower house, may deem proper. So
Well,
if I
let me
may,
remind the good secretary that this committee, particularly the Justice Committee, is interested in addressing the problem by creating legislation. In fact, we have already filed a bill. Several bills have been filed by the Senate on the matter. And that's why it would be, your statements would be welcome. The Blue Ribbon Committee is also in aid of legislation, but principally to weed out corruption and to find out whether there was malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance. And I'm glad that the President is very, very aware of this, and he was immediately on the act, according to Senator Go. But what is most important is the fact that if the President was really, kung totoo talaga siya mismo, ay ganun kasintindi ang kanyang galit dyan, bakit napapayagan, bakit nakakalusot doon sa Bucor yung mga bagay na ganyan? Kaya yan ang dapat nating i-address ngayon dito. Because una-una, you're aware, and I have a document here, with the permission of Senator Go, where the application for clemency, for executive clemency was filed. And in my prefactory remarks, sinabi ko, dapat alam, in your experience, and I'll ask a question, in your experience, yan bang andito ang Bureau of Pardons and Parole, right? What is your name again? Dr. Bayang. Hindi ba niya sinasabihan ang Bucor pag nag-a-apply, halimbawa, katulad niya si Sanchez, na gusto niya ng executive clemency, hindi ba niya tatanungin ang Bucor kung okay ba yan, kamusta ang performance niya, maayos ba siya, may good conduct pa siya, di ba niya tinatanong yan?
That is included, sir, in the evaluation and investigation of the Board of Pardons for all cases, not only the case of Sanchez.
So you get the input, sir, of the Bureau of Corrections.
Yes, sir.
And who would that be in the Bureau of Corrections?
The documents, the overseer, everything, sir.
The documents, and the guy who was handling documents had just been killed. At least some of the documents, right?
Yes, sir.
And would you ask the Bureau of Corrections, Director General, also for comments?
Actually, sir, the Director General is the one giving instructions to those who are involved in the reformation of inmates to report, to submit to
So tinatanong niyo sila?
Yes, sir.
Ang Bucor Deputy Director General, right? Tinatanong
Yes,
niyo?
sir. We asked him, sir.
So he would know na nag-apply ito for executive clemency. Correct?
Yes, sir.
At dahil mahigpit nga kayo, hindi nyo pinayagan na magkaroon ng executive clemency because in your words, ang sinasabi doon sa executive clemency decision, because of the gravity of the crimes committed. And I'm glad the parents are here, Mrs. Armenta is here, na sinabi doon na, and they were informed also. Were you informed of that? No, you were not informed. But I guess they'll deny nga eh. Pero bago, kung kayo ay magsasabi na papayagan nyo, i-inform nyo ba yung mga offended parties?
Beforehand, sir, we submit, we file, we request them for
Comments.
Yes, sir. We inform them and we will publish the names of these
Pero mukhang
PBS.
hindi kayo nasabihan, ho? Can you please speak to the microphone because I need your statement for the record. Hindi po kayo nasabihan.
There was no such